It's time for Proving It, presented by Titleist. So many times players go out to hit the golf ball and their friends comment, oh, you were over the top, you were over the top. What's over the top? All right, well, let me tell you what over the top is. This is very simple. As we start to understand what over the top is, what you realize is over the top is an arm path thing. That's an over the top. Yeah, club head is over the top too, but arm path is coming in on top instead of coming in underneath. So what I've got here is I've got this swim noodle set up, and really what it is it's set up just in front of the top of my forearms. What I want to be able to do is swing the club back and have my arms underneath that, and then when I start to come back through, I want my arms to be underneath this again. If I come over the top here like this, now my arms are going to start to come over this way, and now I'm going to hit this swim noodle. And what I can tell you is that's the reason why you're hitting your magic slice. You can't figure out why the magic slice, it's over the top. Arm path is coming out this way. We've got to get the arm path to get under. Many of you say, well, I got to drop that down. I got to pull down on the club. I got to freeze my... Just get your arm path underneath. So what you do is you just make some simple swings, small, not fast. We make short, slow swings. Now we hit that shot, and all of a sudden you can see I got that under there without hitting that bar at all. Try that again. What you'll notice when I take this away and we do this drill is all the paths of the ball, all the start lines of the ball are all going to be out to the right-hand side, which is what you need to do in order for you to hit a draw. The club has to come from inside, in to out. So here we go again. Slow, small, boom, just like that. Now we pick up the speed. So you get a feel of what that is. Arms are low and around. I kind of feel like when I swing this way that I feel like a little Jason Duffner. That's what I feel like I've got. When I take the club back and I get to here, my arms kind of feel low. I don't really feel like they're under here. I kind of feel like I'm in here. And I feel like I'm really deep with my arms and hands, which is something that allows you to get this club to come from the inside. Same thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this back just a little bit so the sim will start to pick up the golf ball. Okay? So we go here. Exact same thing. Club's in the swim noodle's in the same spot. It's just a little farther back. Now I'm underneath here, and I'll come in this way. Now, I'll tell you something else. One of the other reasons why I love this drill is I see players many times when they're taking the club back, roll the forearms early, and the hands start to work out and away, and the club head starts to work underneath. So if I do this drill and I go like that, now I'm going to run into that swim noodle in the backswing. So this is going to help you both in your backswing and in your downswing. Let's see how we do here. See if I've got that swim noodle in the right spot. We're going to go slowly again. Okay, wonderful shot there. Now, come on up to the front here with me, Gibbers. Excellent. And here's what I want you to pay attention to. When we're up here, I hit a good shot. The distance was fine. I didn't go at it hard. It'll get faster in just a second. But here's what I want you to pay attention to. First of all, the horizontal launch, 2.5 degrees to the right. So I got that to start to the right. And then the side spin, I had almost 600 RPMs of left spin. What does that mean? That means that it's going to be a nice little draw. Absolutely right. So now we're going to go in here. And now I'm going to turn up the volume. See if we can't hit one that's got a little bit more power on it. Same exact feel. And get the sense that I'm not going to hit this swim noodle. Here we go. There's a good swing there, and you can see this one had a lot more power to it. Come on up to the front again, because this is where we started to get some real speed. Look at that ball speed, up to almost 119 miles an hour. And again, I didn't really swing it that hard. I got 190 yards of carry. But back down here to what I was talking about before. Look at the launch, 1.6 to the right. Call it 2 degrees to the right. And the side spin, 1,376 RPMs to the left. What is that? We're hitting draws. We're curving the ball right to left. I would rather have you over curve it to the left and then bring that back, subtly bring that back to the nice draw shot. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to get stuck in this over the top, hit this, pull this to the left and think you're hitting draws. That is not a draw. A draw starts to the right of your target, the right of the intended target. That's what a draw does. So let me hit one more here. Bring this up. Make that practice swing, feeling those arms staying connected to the body underneath there. Now we're going to go ahead and hit one. This is going to be my biggest. I'm going to go for my greatest distance on this one right here. Underneath. Look at this one. This one is just soaring. It's coming back to the basket. Oh! You know what? I want to see that one. Look at it. Come on up here. Come on up here. This is what you want to see. This is a beautiful draw. Really high apex, 102 feet of apex. But I want you to see the curve again. The horizontal launch, 5 degrees to the right. I was a little bit nervous. Didn't want to hit it fat. Had to make sure it's coming from the inside. Didn't want to hit that noodle. And then 1,200 RPMs of left spin. So excellent shot. A lot of club head speed. A lot of ball speed there. 119 in the ball speed. Really, really good inside shot that creates that nice draw. So what can I tell you? Well, it's a simple thing. You want to learn to hit that draw. You've got to get from being over the top. You've got to get your control of your arm path. Your arm path coming out and over. And when you start taking that club and you're going out this way, the hands are now coming down and they're hitting this noodle here. We got to make sure that they're coming underneath there. And when they get underneath there, that's when you start hitting draws. That's when you start being the envy of your friends. They're going, how'd you learn to do that? Oh, that Breed guy, he showed me that. I got this cool thing. And you're just working on it at home. Easy to do. By the way, we're at home. Set this thing up. It's easy for you to set up, and it will fix your golf swing, get you exactly where you want to be. That's Proving It, presented by Titleist. Changing your trajectory, changing your shot shape can be as simple as how you put your trail hand on the club. It's time for a grip tip, presented by Golf Pride. We see this all the time. Everybody goes through these different, they just pick the club up. They put their hands on like this. They're shaking over here. They do this, and then they go to try to hit the shot. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to step into the shot with your trail hand on your thigh. And then instead of bringing your trail hand onto the grip this way, I want you to get underneath it. I want you to feel like you're coming into the grip this way. So from here, a straight line from this thigh to the grip goes like that. And I want you to get under there just like that. Now, when I get under there like that, you can see how in this down the line view, this right arm is underneath my left arm. I can see part of my forearm right there. So I come in like this and I go like that. Now, when I hit this shot, and I want you to come up here to the front because this is what I want you to see here. This is, and I love watching these shots, how just a simple thing like this can change things so dramatically. And I'm going to show you the opposite here in just a second, but I want you to see this. Getting my right hand underneath. Apex, 115 feet. 115 feet. Vertical launch, 26 degrees. That's going up into the air. I hit that thing 165 yards, straight up into the air. And it had a little draw to it, actually. It started 3.5 degrees to the right. It had 785 RPMs of left spin. What is that? That's a draw. Simple things. Now, I want you to watch this. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to come into this grip from on top like this. So now my right arm is very long, and it's sitting on top of my left. In fact, down the line here, I can see this part of my arm underneath this. You can see that right there. Now, when I hit this, and I hit that thin. That's actually, I mean, it proves the point, but it doesn't prove the point because I didn't hit it solidly. But you can see how low that was. That only apexed at 15 feet. Let's try that again. That tells you how uncomfortable that is. So really on top like this. Now we go. Now, I hit that one pretty solidly. That has an apex. Come on up here. I'll show you this right here. Look down here. 76 feet. That's a 76-foot apex. Look at the launch. 18.9 degrees. That's enormous difference. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back to this other thing. Ben Hogan, when Ben Hogan was showing people how to hit the ball, he said one of the most important things is feeling that right arm, this arm, underneath this arm here, like that. Well, the only way you can do that is by taking this hand and getting it to come into the grip from underneath, from off of that thigh. So here and here. The other thing that you'll notice in this face-on view is when I come in there, my shoulders will go like this. If I want to hit it high, those shoulders have to be like that. If I'm going to hit it low, they're going to be like this. And if I get it low in the down the line view, if my shoulders are over here, I'm going to hit a low cut. So here we go. In here just like this. Now my right shoulder's a lot lower. Right hand come in under the club. You can see that elbow now is underneath here, and then boom. Again, nice high draw. That one apexed at 95 feet. It had a launch angle of 21.3 degrees. This is a simple thing. In order for you to change your shot shape, you have to change the way you put your hands on the club, the grip. That's why it's a grip tip. We're going to change the way we put our hands on that club. And the way you alter it is by getting your trail hand onto your trail thigh, just like this, and then let it come straight into the grip from there. Here's the grip. This is here, straight line right to there. So boom, hand underneath in that spot there. Now when I come in here, I'm going to hit nice high draws. Simple as that. Change the way you hold the golf club. Change the way you come into that. Think about how you're putting your trail hand on there. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to change that shot shape and you'll start hitting some nice high draws. That's a grip tip for you, presented by Golf Pride. It's time for our transformational tip, presented by Morgan Franklin. I love looking at your golf swings. Keep those coming to me. We're looking at Dustin Creech right here. And this is, honestly, this is a golf swing that I really, really like. It's just got a little bit of work to be done. But this is a good athlete, strong athlete, obviously a hard worker out there. Let's take a look at this motion. You can see that takeaway. Excellent move. A little bit open in the club face, and then he's just battling the openness all the way through. Really heavily releases there. But this is a golf swing. I'm telling you, this is a golf swing with a little bit of work can get really, really good. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. As this club starts to go back in the backswing, right here, that doesn't look like that's an open position. But what I need you to do is I need you to pay attention. Yeah, I know. I got a nice another little tool thanks to my friends at V1. So watch what happens here now. The hand, you see that thumb right there? Pay attention to the thumb and the index finger. You see how those are off the club right there? So they're off, so he doesn't really get any forearm rotation in his golf swing to that point. Now, let me bring that back. It's right there so we can follow that up all the way. And what you're going to see now is when he starts to take this club up, now what he starts to get is he starts to get a really open club face. Look at how much that toe is hanging right there. And when you start getting a toe that's hanging, what you now have to do, particularly at the top of the swing right there, you can see the toe hanging right there. When you get that toe hanging the way that's hanging, now all of a sudden, we've got to recover it. And watch what happens in the downswing as he starts to come down into this. Watch where this club is really, really in trouble. So it's a beautiful job with the lay down. But look at that position right there. I just got to get that blown up just a little bit. Look at the club face. So when I take that club face and I put a line on that club face right there is probably at, I don't know, maybe 25 degrees open. That's a lot to try to recover when the club is traveling its fastest from hip high to the golf ball. This is a really difficult one to recover. So what you're going to see that he does is as he starts to come down in this, and it's still open, but now he's working hard to try to get this. We're starting to get this to turn down. He's going to hit that ball out on the toe. I got to use my new favorite tool here. He's going to hit that ball out on the toe. That's where the strike point is right there. There's the strike point right there. That is out on the toe. You can see, you can't see any club at all to the right of that line, but you can see the heel and everything in there. So now we got to narrow that up again because I want you to see what happens with his arms and his hands. Pay attention to this right here because this is where you're going to see a lot of hand activity happening right in here. Watch what happens. Look at that hand activity right there. You see that? That is a guy, a good athlete trying to recover an open club face. And then as he starts to go through, He still gets that. I would not be surprised if, Dustin, you were getting a little bit of wear out in your wrists right there from them, sort of the friction between the wrist on your right hand and the wrist on your left hand rubbing against one another as you're hitting those golf balls. Now, here's what I want you to do. You got to learn this one little move, and this one little move is going to help you tremendously. First, I need to make sure that you focus on keeping all of the fingers and the palms on the grip the entire way through this motion. So I don't want you to let this come off. There are some players, and you can argue Brandt Snedeker, I'm with you. Snedeker, it's a very rare individual that can do it at the highest level and do it successfully. At your level, where you're just getting going here, you're just learning the game, you're trying to work on it, get better at it, you've got a job, you got something else you're doing, it's really difficult to do that. So please, solve that problem first. Make sure that your hands are on this club the whole time, all the way through. Now, when you start to get this club to the top of the backswing, what I want you to feel is that you're going to get the label of the glove, that Titleist logo right there. I want you to feel that up to the sky. That's what I want you to do. I want you to feel that up to the sky right there. So when you take the club back, I don't want you to feel it cup like that. I want you to feel it bow like that. Just like Dustin, and we'll use your name, Dustin. I want you to give me a Dustin Johnson, okay? So when you go play golf, it's no longer Dustin Creech. It's Dustin Johnson. That's what I want you to do. And when you get up there and you feel that bowing of the wrists right there, now you come down. You don't have to spend all that time trying to get the club face square. It's already square. So we're going to get that in that position right there. Just stretch that thing right there. And it's going to feel like if you were a left-handed person riding a motorcycle, you'd be going vroom, 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 and spin that thing away. Spin it away like that. As you start to spin that away, now the club face is going to be shut. Now, when I do that, this ball is going to have a little draw to it. You can see that's going to start out to the left, and it's going to spin over to the left-hand side. So I got a launch angle there of 2 degrees to the left, and I got 1,400 RPMs of side spin over to the left-hand side. But that's because I had control over that club face, setting it into a draw. I don't need that. Dustin, you need that, and you've got to work on that. So here's the 2 things that I want you to do. 1, make sure that all fingers and palms are on the club all the way through the golf swing. 2, when you get to the top of your swing, I want you to bow that wrist. Now, here's the other thing that's going to happen to you as a result of doing that. The club's not going to travel so far. So it will naturally shorten. That's a long swing that you've got, and that club looks like that's a 6 or 7 iron that you're swinging. So imagine how long it's going to get with a driver or a fairway wood, something along those lines. It's going to get really long. Well, when you start to get this wrist position figured out, now all of a sudden, you're going to start to shorten that golf swing. That's going to give you a little bit more time to take that really nice motion and put it into play by letting the body rotate through, which is exactly what you're doing in that. It's just going to take some arm and hand activity out of that. Now, the final thing I want you to pay attention to is when you get that wrist position correct, I just want you to do this little drill where you swing, because you're going to have a little bit of this forearm rotation going on in your swing. You got to get that out. Do this little drill. Just grip down on the club like that, about 2/3 of the way down, and then all you're going to do is swing and not let the handle hit you in the side. And that will take care of the spinning of the shaft that you have in your swing because of your open club face. And what I would tell you and everybody else is this. When you start to play golf with an open club face at the top of your swing, you will make incredible compensations coming down into the strike. And what will happen to you is you're typically going to end up having a ton of forearm rotation, a ton of turning of the shaft or spinning of the shaft, and a lot of inconsistencies in the strike. That's why Dustin has that toe hit. So if you're one of those individuals that's struggling with hits out on the toe, chances are your club face is open at the top of the swing. And I would suggest you try this little move that Dustin Johnson has. I know it will help Dustin Creech, and I'm sure it will help you at home. That is our transformational tip presented by Morgan Franklin. You know, I get asked this question all the time. Michael, how do I find the right shoe for me? Well, this is a very, very simple thing to do, and it's very important for you to make sure that the shoe that you buy is not just something that matches your uniform, what you're wearing. You actually have to understand that the shoe that you buy has a purpose. It has a reason. And I have a reason why the shoes that I wear when I go play are set a certain way. I got to have a little bit of a higher heel. I need a little bit more stability in my shoe. I don't really have very strong ankles. And so there's a lot of things that go into purchasing the shoe, and the way you find the right shoe for you is just go to footjoy.com/shoefinder. Now, let me show you the shoes that I like to wear. The first pair of shoes that I'm going to show, the pair of shoes I want to show you is this Pro SL. Now the Pro SL is, the reason why I love the Pro SL shoe is because you can see this wide heel right here, and you can see the wide toe base. Now what that allows me to do is it gives me stability. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have a tremendous amount of strength in the ankles. So the shoe is going to help me. And what this allows me to do is when I'm using the ground efficiently and effectively, I can generate a little bit more club head speed. It's not just, hey, I don't want to slip. It's, I have a certain way that I want my body to perform, and it has to be a little bit more stable for me. Now, there are players that play with a little bit more mobility. They need some mobility because of whatever reason. Maybe it's the ankles are really stable and they need some flexibility. So you get a shoe that allows you to have a little bit more mobility. Everybody's different. That's why you got to go over there and find the right shoe for you. Now, let me show you the other shoe that I'm wearing. It's this one right here. It's called the Tour X. And this is probably my favorite shoe. I would say between the two, this is my favorite shoe. Again, why? Well, I love that wideness in the heel. You can see how those spikes are kind of pushing out to the side. And again, in the toe base, same thing. So I'm making sure that I've got some width in there. I don't really have wide feet either. So this gives me a little bit of a more stable platform. This is the BOA right here, which I love. And I love that red, but that's a separate issue. I'm using this shoe because this allows me to really use the ground efficiently and effectively. And the final thing that I can tell you about this shoe that I really prefer is you can see the height of the heel. That height of the heel is something that when I grew up, I always had very high-heeled shoes when I played. That classic FootJoy shoe was the shoe that I wore, and I got used to wearing that shoe. And so my whole putting stroke was built around that particular shoe. And what I can tell you, what I know, and in the studies that I've done about putting, you have to make sure that you're wearing the right shoe for you, because if you don't have the right shoe, your putting stroke will change. Your ability to aim the putter will be altered. So what I can tell you is that shoes are important when you're making full swings, but they're also very, very important when you're putting. And what I would urge you to do, don't practice putt indoors without wearing the shoes that you wear. I know it's a little bit more of a challenge for you to get those shoes on, but I promise you that's how you're going to perform better when you're out on the golf course, is wearing the shoes that you wear out on the golf course inside when you're putting. Please do me a favor. Don't wear loafers or slippers or no shoes at all. What I need you to understand is the shoes that you get onto your feet are very, very important. And what you need to do to find the right shoe for you is to go to footjoy.com/shoefinder to make sure that the shoe that you have on your foot is the right shoe for you, helping you play your best golf. That's an FJ Fix.